There is a claim at the root of the Gnostic writings, and it is a strange one to say out loud, that something in you is older than your body, and that you have forgotten it. Not a metaphor, in the way they meant it, and not a comfort. A claim about who you actually are, underneath the name and the face and the history you answer to when someone calls you. This is the longer walk. There is a short version of this teaching, and it is complete in itself, but here we are going to take our time. We will lay out, slowly and plainly, what that tradition says has gone wrong with us, the shape of the way it offers home, and a practice you could begin tomorrow morning. And we will hold every claim for exactly what it is, what the texts say, what the tradition asks you to hold as myth, and what you can check in your own body. Begin with the light. In a Sethian text called the Apocryphon of John, the secret book of John, the ultimate source has no name you can fix to it. The writer keeps reaching for words and keeps taking them back. Not a body, not a quantity, not a thing among things. Not even, rightly, to be called a god, because a god is already too small and too particular a picture. You can only say what it is not, and then fall silent. And when the text does reach for one image, it does not reach for a throne or a father or a king. It reaches for light, immeasurable light, a radiance with no edge to it and no bottom. And here is the turn the whole tradition rests on. It says a portion of that light was placed, hidden, inside the human being. The secret book calls it the luminous epinoia, the afterthought, the insight, the spark, set in you to wake your thinking, and named remarkably as greater than the powers that shaped your flesh. Something in you that did not begin when your body began. Something the makers of this world could not fully account for and could not quite put out. In that same text, this light is not silent. It has a voice, and the voice moves. It descends into the sleep of the world to call its own kind awake. I am the forethought of the pure light, it says. I am the thinking that dwells in the light. That is the strange shape of it. The light you are looking for is also the one doing the looking, and the one calling you to look. Hold all of this lightly as the tradition's own picture, a source beyond every name, a spark of it carried hidden in you, a forgetting that veils it, and a call that comes to wake it. That is the map. Now, if that is the map, one honest question follows at once. Why don't you feel it? If there is immeasurable light seated in the depth of you, why doesn't it simply announce itself? Why is your ordinary Tuesday so seamless, so opaque, so entirely without any luminous spark? The tradition's answer is not sin, and it is not guilt. Its word is forgetting. The secret book says, in its strange story, that we were made to drink a water of forgetfulness, so that we would not know where we came from, and would not remember the light, and would even forget that we had forgotten. That last turn is the sharp one. It is one thing to lose something and know there is a gap where it was. It is another to lose it so completely that the gap closes over and you feel whole and settled and certain that the name, the face, the appetites, the running commentary, is simply all there is. And on top of the forgetting the tradition lays a second thing, and this part you can actually watch. It calls it the counterfeit spirit, an imitation of the real one, an overlay laid down over your life that runs your reactions for you, so that compulsion feels exactly like your own free will. In the myth, this world was shaped by a lower power, the Gnostics called the demiurge, a craftsman who mistook himself for the highest, and did not know there was anything above him, and his officers, the archons, the rulers, who administer the fog and keep the sleepers asleep. Strip away the ancient language, and the demiurge and his archons and the counterfeit spirit all point at something ordinary and verifiable, the autopilot. Habit. Conditioning. The same reactions firing on the same triggers, all day, without your consent. the part of you that already knows what it will say before you have decided to say it. You do not have to believe a word about blind craftsmen or cosmic officers to test that part. Sit quietly for 2 minutes and watch how much of your inner life simply happens to you. The worry that arrives on schedule, the irritation that fires before you choose it, the loop of thought you have run 1,000 times. That is the counterfeit spirit at the only scale you can verify, the machinery running while no one is home. And the texts keep reaching for 2 images for the state it produces. They call it sleep. They call it drunkenness. The secret book's whole cry is to rise from a deep sleep. The Gospel of Thomas says, starkly, that it found people drunk, and not one of them thirsty, no one even aware enough to want water. So the condition the tradition names is not that you are bad. It is that you are asleep, and living on automatic inside a fog, while underneath the overlay, a real, good, human aliveness is waiting. And that distinction matters more than almost anything else here. The way out is not to despise yourself, and not to throw the aliveness away. It is to turn it back toward the light. The forgetting is to be lifted. The autopilot is to be caught. But the living thing underneath, that was never the problem. And the way home in this tradition has a simple shape. 5 movements. But hold the word movements, not steps, because these overlap, and you return to them for the rest of a life. You do not finish one and leave it behind. First, you wake. You catch yourself in the middle of the autopilot, mid-reaction, mid-loop, mid-story, and you feel the small click from trance into being present. This is the most immediate part of the whole path. It asks nothing you don't already have. You can feel it today, this hour, the moment you notice you have been somewhere else. Second, you discern. And this one is delicate, so go slowly with it. Discernment here is not labeling every feeling, not me, and shoving it away. That is its own trap, the kind of quiet self-warfare dressed up as freedom. It is subtler. You learn to tell the driven, must-act-on-it-now compulsion, which you can set down from the plain human feeling underneath it, which you meet and keep. Anger arrives. Under the compulsion to lash out, there is often just hurt, or fear, or a boundary that was crossed, and that you keep. You disown the hijacking. You never disown the aliveness that was hijacked. This is the ascent the texts describe, the rising up past the archons, past each automatic layer, walked inwardly, one honest recognition at a time. Third, you turn inward. The philosopher Plotinus, who breathed the same air as these texts, described it as almost embarrassingly simple. You turn around. Instead of always staring outward at the thing seen, forever leaning toward the next object of attention, you turn back toward the one who is doing the seeing, not a journey to a far place, a reversal of direction, on the spot. Fourth, you grow quiet and you listen. Here the tradition's instinct is unusual and worth trusting. You're not trying to generate an experience or manufacture a state. You are waiting, the way the eye waits for the sun to rise. The eye does not produce the dawn. It does not strain the sun over the horizon. It grows still and stays open and receives what comes. You listen for the call with longing, but without force. This runs against almost every instinct we bring to it. We are used to getting results by pushing harder, and here the pushing is precisely what closes the door. The quiet is not something you achieve. It is something already underneath the noise, that shows itself the moment you stop generating more of the noise on top of it. And fifth, you carry the quiet back out. This is the movement that keeps the whole thing honest, and it is the one most easily skipped. A silence that leaves you serene, but no kinder, has gone wrong somewhere along the way. The escape the Gnostics longed for is real, but it completes itself here, in the world it seemed to be leaving. The rest is only real if it becomes love made ordinary. One actual act of kindness, in the day you actually live in. That is the test the whole tradition finally submits to. So let me set that down as a practice you could do tomorrow morning, in a few minutes, before the day takes you. Walk it slowly, sit, and let yourself settle. Nothing dramatic. Just let the body arrive where it already is. Then let the breath lengthen and slow. Roughly 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, about 6 breaths a minute. And be honest about why this works, because the honesty is part of the practice. Slow breathing of this kind settles the nervous system and steadies the body. That is a plain, measurable effect, not a magical one, and it is enough. You are not casting a spell. You are giving an anxious animal a signal that it is safe. As the body settles, carry one word on the breath. A single name for the source, if you have one, or simply the listening itself held as a word. When a thought grabs you, and it will, notice the compulsion in it, the little pull to be carried off. Set it down gently and come back to the one word. Not with irritation, just come back. The coming back is the exercise. Then, after a while, stop even that. Let go of the word, let go of the searching, and rest. Don't manufacture anything. Don't reach for a result. Just let the inner agitation thin out into stillness for a little while, and stay there without needing it to become anything. That stillness is what the texts call repose, the coming home, not a place you travel to, a quiet you stop covering over. And before you stand up, open your eyes and look at the ordinary room as though it were already enough. The Gospel of Thomas says the kingdom is spread out upon the earth, and people do not see it. So look for a moment as if it were already here. The light on the wall, the chair, the plain morning, not somewhere you have to earn your way to. Then choose one kindness to carry into the day. Just one. Concrete, small, real. That is the whole practice. Settle, breathe, listen, rest, and carry one act of love outward. You can do it in 5 minutes, and you can spend a lifetime on it. One honest word before you go, and then I will leave you to it. Go gently with this. Intensive inner work can stir up strong states. Do not force it. Do not chase intensity as though more were better. And if you carry a history of serious mental health difficulty, do this alongside a professional or a teacher you trust. And hold the cosmology as myth, not physics. You do not need to believe in the demiurge or the archons or the water of forgetfulness for any of this to be real. Test only what you can actually feel, the waking, the small click into presence, the quieting, the agitation thinning out, the steadier body under the slow breath, and the small, unmistakable growth in kindness. That is the size of what is checkable, and it turns out to be plenty. There is a light in you, the tradition says, older than your body, and you forgot it. And the way home is nearer than the forgetting, and it begins the moment you wake up inside your own ordinary day.